Hi, welcome. My name is Andy. Hope you're having a good day. I'm having a fantastic day. Thanks. I thought today we would talk about ego because it kept coming up in last week's 60-second tarot. And thanks for all your support on the 60-second tarot videos, by the way. Coming out every day, I can manage it. The internet got me one day and I couldn't upload, but I trying to do it every day. But anyway, first here's a chicken and then we will have a post-chicken chat about ego. Right, now when I talk about ego, I'm not necessarily talking about your ego. This is quite an important thing to point out. Many spiritual teachers will try and get you to repeat the affirmation, I have no ego. Personally, I don't agree with that. What's really important is to have a healthy ego, because the ego is your life force. And by a healthy ego, I mean, respectfully sort of putting yourself first. And when I say respectfully, I mean, with respect for the other people that live around you and the other people in the world, generally speaking. For example, there are food shortages everywhere, but why starve yourself to death? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And another perhaps more sinister side of that is worth thinking about, is that if you kind of absolutely detach from having any ego at all, then there are, shall we say, unhelpful spiritual entities which they've certainly got an ego, and they will start living through you if you're not careful. And it can be sorted out, it can be cleansed away, it can be put right, but it's not a nice position to be in. It can throw up all kinds of bad dreams and just not a happy experience of life, really. It all gets a bit scary. So it's important to have an ego, to have a healthy ego, and in that sense to know who you are, to know what you're about, because if you're completely directionless, then what's your life actually doing? What's your life actually giving you? And this is why it's so important, if you believe in something, if you care about something, to actually do something about what you care about, what you believe in. Other people will try and tell you, oh, it's no point doing that, particularly if they think you're mad because you believe in spiritual practices. And I get this quite a lot, actually. And I try and just kind of cut off from those people as much as possible. If they're willing to, have a rethink, or at least, not to rub it in my face that they think I'm crazy, then they can come back into my life. They're very welcome to come back into my life, But generally speaking, I cut the cord with people who sort of put me down like that. And I know a lot of us who follow spiritual matters, spiritual beliefs, and have spiritual practices going on in our lives, do actually suffer that from some of the other people around us. It's a really difficult one. I mean, sometimes you can't just cut the cord just like that. If it's someone at work, you can't very well stop working over it. And it's difficult, but what you've got to do then is sort of breathe deeply and just decide that you're going to keep going in the way that you know is right. That's what's really important, because that way you attract much better luck, really, to you. Could call it karma, could call it a lot of things, but luck is really where it's at. And everyone believes in luck, actually. It's just that if you don't have a spiritual overview of luck, then you tend to think, it's just randomly some people have a better deal than other people. It is all linked to karma, and someone in a chat room once said to me, actually, this is why I've thought of this. Don't see it as karma. It's just luck, It's just luck, and I agree that it's luck. But luck relates to karma in a big way, and things from past lives can get involved, That's certainly a fact, because the soul is being crafted life after life through each reincarnation. The soul is always being crafted, and the soul is what really needs to be in charge. And when you've got a healthy ego, when you're showing that, that's when the soul is really at its best. That's when things happen in the most favourable light. And having a healthy ego means you just kind of, you know, you're mindful. It's like mindfulness. You're mindful of yourself. You're in yourself, and you're aware of all the things that really matter. You can get kind of too much into yourself, I suppose. That's the true thing. And that's the kind of ego we want to be avoiding, in my humble opinion. For example, I remember playing pool with a guy once, and it was really by accident. I just kind of shot with my cube, hit the ball, and my ball happened to hit 3 of my other balls on the table, and they all went into pockets. It's just a bit of luck, you know. I'm no expert. I was just casually playing pool. But the other guy was a real kind of pool expert, and he became really paranoid that I'd kind of won this game, because after that I just kept knocking balls down. And like I say, I didn't care about it, but this other guy did. He got really upset about it because it had bruised his ego, and there was nothing to be upset about, really. It wasn't as if I was going to turn up next week and beat him again, become the world pool champion, and everyone would know he was beaten by a newbie. It just wasn't like that. It was a casual thing. But the guy's ego made so much of it. We have a cat visit. You coming up, Puss? You going to come and say hello? Come on. Here we go. Look, it's Marcy. We see much more of Marcy when we're in the garden. She comes to say hello much more, and she seems to be staying here now. Okay, now it does my ego quite a lot of good to have cats, actually, because whatever's going on, not just cats, actually, dogs are really good at this, and animals, generally speaking, they take you at face value, you know. They don't have hang-ups, they don't have worries about crazy things that you can't do anything about. And having kids as well, you know. When my daughter was a baby, she just sort of accepted everything about me and didn't really question it. And she still doesn't question it much, actually, even now she's grown up, you know. You just sort of are what you are as a parent. And the fact is, you are what you are, whatever else is going on. So you might as well be a healthy version of that. So the ego might as well be a good thing. And when I was talking about ego problems last week in the many of the 60-second tarot actually involved ego on one level or another. What I was really talking about is, you know, there is ego out there. Other people's egos might get in the way. Your ego might get in the way. It's a fact of life. You know, I'm making these videos for everyone. I'm sure someone watching has kind of got an ego that's running a little bit out of control. You just never know. That's no criticism from me, by the way. It's a fact of human life, and certainly a big part of the spiritual quest to try and overcome that. But generally speaking, you know, you get egos battling, particularly when people aren't into any kind of spiritual thing at all, and their ego gets bruised, their feathers get ruffled, and that's the kind of problem we can have with ego, particularly around astrological changes. And there was quite a lot of astrological stuff going on last week. It's actually built up. And if you're watching in the future, I guess this doesn't really apply to you so much, because astrology will be doing something else by then. It's a cycle, and you know, the cycle is always turning, and new things are coming. But this will have happened sometime in your life, absolutely, for sure. You just get in situations where more egotistical stuff is going on around you, whether that's your ego or other people's egos, and you've got to try and smooth your way forward somehow. You know, you might as well have a good life if you possibly can, eh? That's the thing. Well, I'm kind of distracted by Marcy at this point, but I think I've said what I needed to say there. If you are watching at the moment, we've got a slightly easier week ahead of us next week, but on the actual day I'm going to upload this, we are coming up to a big T-square involving the Moon and Pluto and various hijinks to do with that. And it has been a tricky week, you know. Neptune is actually retrograde at the moment. That's not helping matters, because that throws more confusion into the mix. And when there's confusion, that's when the ego can really kind of it can just run wild, you know, and I don't necessarily mean in a negative way, but it just, you know, things get out of whack, things get out of proportion when there's a lot of confusion in the air, and that's what we're going through at the moment. But there are no more eclipses planned until much later in the year. I think the next one is a lunar eclipse in November, and I'm recording this on July 10th, 2021, so kind of allow things to pass, you know. Just think that old Buddhist teaching, all things will pass, because they will in the end. That's the nature of life. It's the nature of our experience of this planet. Just keep looking ahead and keep looking up, really. Okay, because the I am that really matters is kind of a different thing from the I am that is the person's personal ego. We are all who we are because we're made this way. It's a fact of life. So celebrate who you are. Be happy with who you are. I think that might make a good title for the video, actually. I haven't thought of that yet. But anyway, we will do a reading. I'm going to go in the house in a second and we'll do a reading. I would do the reading out here, but this chair sort of makes a weird noise and deafens people, apparently. Such is the nature of iPhones and recording and stuff. And it is a bit breezy. I think it might blow the cards away. So I'm going to go in the house. See you in a blink of an eye. Here we are. Right, so a tarot reading now, and we will do some oracle cards to go with it like we usually do. Going to use the Ascended Masters, and in a second I will put the camera down on the table so you can see. But I'm really spoiled this week. Thanks again, Adrienne, for this amazing care pack you sent me, which has 2 decks in it, actually, and this is another one. I sort of unboxed and had a quick look at the hybrid tarot a couple of days ago, but this is the Halloween tarot. I'm really excited to open this and start using it, actually. So I thought I would just kind of quickly unbox it as we start, and then I'll do a very quick sort of random tarot spread from it, and we will use it for today's reading. So there we go. Got the old unboxing knife out there just to split the plastic, and we'll bring it out and we'll have a look and we'll see what we've got. This looks a fantastic deck, actually, and I love the idea of Halloween energies going on at any time of year, because they really do, you know, kind of Halloween is sort of the Christmas of the spirit world in so many ways, but at the same time it's a time for us people, as you know, earth people, worldly beings living this worldly incarnation. Halloween is a time for us to really kind of make a special thing about spiritual goings on, but it's a real thing all the time, you know. So I think it's good to use these decks all the time. Having some trouble getting the book out there, but there we go, we've got it out. What else have we got? We've got like a spreadsheet as well for it, so that is going to be good. But can I get the cards out? This is the question. I thought I was going to have to turn the camera off for a second there. There we go, look nice and squeaky and new. The Halloween Tarot. It is by Kipling West. There is a name to conjure with. Kipling West, that's a real good name. Almost a British sounding name, if you will. Published by US Games. We'll open it up. We'll have a quick flick through and then I'll do a tarot reading. And here we are. Got to get the old Swiss Army knife out again. Here it is. And we'll just slit the plastic very carefully. Got to be really careful opening decks, actually, because if you sort of mark one card, you can always tell what that card is from the back, and it takes the spontaneity out of it, you know, because this is why I do pick a card readings, and today's reading will be a pick a card, as ever, or pick more than one card. It's always going to be up to you. And, you know, it's because you can be your own psychic. Everyone has got that in them. Someone was asking me last night, you know, what's the difference between mediums and psychics? Are all psychics mediums? Are all mediums psychics? Well, there's a sort of wavelength thing going on with mediums, which, you know, I don't want to sort of be exclusive and exclude people from that in any way, but it's a fact of life. There's no getting away from it. There is a kind of a wavelength thing that goes on with mediums, for sure there is. But everyone has got psychic senses, you know. It's something we are born with, really it is. The scientific community don't like us to believe in that. I guess they've got their own reasons for that. And I guess they're not very good reasons, that's my opinion anyway. But yeah, we have all actually got a psychic sense, just like we've got an ego, as I was talking about earlier, you know. And it's best to use that in the most positive way possible, hence the pick a card readings. Anyway, I'm going to put the camera down on the table now, and we will do a spread from the Halloween Tarot, and also rather tatty old box. I had this deck a long time, but it's kind of really magical deck, really intense deck. It's the Ascended Masters, an old Doreen Virtue classic, and the old ones are the best, are they not? So here we go. I have had a shuffle. I've got no idea what these cards are going to be, and the Halloween Tarot is a new one on me, so this should be interesting. I haven't read the book from the Halloween Tarot yet, actually, so my apologies if I don't get to absolutely everything that these cards are supposed to say, but as always, I'm working with spirit guides, and I'm sure everything that comes up will be what is meant to come up, and we've got the Ascended Masters cards up top here. So now, friends, is the time to pick a card. Do you want to pick any one card in particular? Do you want to pick a combination of cards? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 10 cards. You could do it that way. You could do it as 5 pairs. You decide, it's up to you, and do let me know in the comments which card stands out for you on this day, actually, because it's all a big part of our spirit guides getting zeroed into one another, which makes such a difference. Anyway, then I hope you've made your choice, because I'm about to start. First of all, we'll turn over a tarot card this time, and it's the 8 of Imps. Wow. Lots of kind of naughtiness going on there, and this is why it's so important to really take control of your own personal ego. Doesn't mean wipe it out. By no means does it mean wipe out your ego. But do take notice of it, and do try and keep it a healthy ego, because there are always various impious forces kind of jumping about, trying to get in and make crazy things happen. It's not really bad energy, not by any means, actually. This is all about nature sprites, and nature sprites, they're just playful, really. So things don't always go the way you want them to go if the if any number of imps get involved, actually. And just out of interest, that word imps comes from impious. You know, the piousness and piety that they talk about in the Roman Catholic Church. They're regarded as being impious, you know, and that's why the church is sort of so against everything we do with the tarot, really. But these can be positive forces, you know, because, as I say, they are playful energies, and it's good to know where you stand with it. You know, do you want to let them in? Do you not want to let them in? It's up to you, but you must keep a sense of control, and that is where the healthy ego side of it really comes in. So 8 of Imps, and with the number 8, of course, we've got the idea of eternity going on, you know, a continuous cycle throughout our different lives and incarnations. So what has the Ascended Masters to say about this? Follow your heart. Here we go, and it's Saint Francis. So Saint Francis is someone we really associate with the Christianity movement, you know, which is actually a very different thing to following the teachings of Christ. But St. Francis was certainly very good at that. And you can see he's very close to nature here. We've got 2 doves flying about, and we've got this little creature here which looks like a deer to me. Maybe it's a baby deer, I don't know, but it's very white and it's very pure, and the light is really shining out of St. Francis's heart, and that's where the light is coming from in this picture more than anything else. We see wonderful energies with the doves bringing their bunches of olives here, and with the little deer there, wonderful energies, but it's all being controlled, as it were, by St. Francis's heart, which was a very open heart and a very positive heart. So that's the way, really, to deal with these forces of nature, which are all around us, because that's not an egotistical heart in any negative kind of way, but that is, you know, it's the heart mind, it's where the soul lives, and that's what really matters. So there we go, cards number 1, or card number 1 and number 6, or number 1 and 2, whichever way you want to see it, friends. You know, the most important thing about any of my readings is the interpretation you put on it yourself. That's what really matters. So in position 2, let's turn over the tarot first. The Hanged Man. Wow. And he's a very unscary hanged man, considering this is the Halloween tarot, actually. He is number 12. And there is a positive number, if ever there was one, actually. So nature images everywhere, and the fires are burning, but he's quite happy hanging around upside down there. And in terms of the ego, which is kind of my intention for this reading, I'm really glad he's come up, because it's your decision, really, whether to hang around or not. You know, if I was doing this reading for one specific person in particular who'd come to me for a reading, I would have said, you know, maybe it's time to stop hanging around and make things happen. But that's not necessarily the case. We've got the crows, or are they ravens, up here, symbolizing really the cosmic side of kind of whether things are right or wrong, whether things are favourable or not. So there is much to ponder, there is much to think about, and it's best not to be rushed into any kind of direct action until you're sure. And again, a healthy ego will help you kind of decide that in the best way possible, whether it's time to move or not. Let's turn over the Ascended Masters card for this one, and it's freedom, Hina. So yeah, sure, hang around and, you know, be free to make that decision to get going. Whether you're sure or not is really quite important. I'm not saying never do anything unless you're sure, because a lot of us would just never get out of bed if that was the case. But avoid committing yourself, because you know, in a situation where you're being asked to commit yourself, or even told to commit yourself, you do actually have freedom. That's why the other people in the picture are trying to make you commit yourself one way or the other to the thing they think you should commit yourself to, because you've got freedom. And look at Hina in this picture. She is really benefiting from being free. She's obviously representing the beauty of the soul, and you know, it just looks like a wonderful place to be. This looks to me like a Caribbean sunset type of image here. And having experienced a Caribbean sunset or 10, I think that's a real positive place to be. So be in your positive place, because you are free to be in your positive place before you take yourself down from the tree and keep moving. So that's position 2. Now we come to position 3. This is going to be the heart of the matter. Let's start off with a tarot card. I usually start off with the oracle cards, but my hand keeps coming here. Right, 10 of Ghosts. Okay, really interesting suits in this deck, actually. I'm loving this. So we've got the suit of imps, and now we've got the suit of ghosts. Now then, we're all kind of directed in our lives by the ghosts of people who've gone before, or memories of things that we might have done in the past, or things that might have been done to us. But it's a number 10 here. This is the 10 in numerology, signifying completion. So be willing to move on, okay? Be willing to keep moving forward. That's so important, to go with what we were saying here about exercising your freedom and your free will. You have the choice to actually leave the past behind you and to actually go forward. And look how kind of colourful these characters are down here. They've really got a lot of positive energy, and the ghosts, they're all kind of wired up together. They look like kind of ghostly, what's the word for them? Ghostly fairy lights, that's it, I guess. But the thing is, you know, as happy as that energy is, there are also stars all around. And they're pentacle stars, they're 5-pointed stars, which represents earth, air, fire and water, those 4 elements, and the 5th element, which is the divine, which is the spiritual side of things. And that's not just something that comes to us from outside, from the universe, it does, but it also comes from within us, you know. And so we've got to kind of be able to take charge of our destiny. And there is another reason for hanging on to having a positive ego, a gentle ego, an ego that involves other people as well as the self, an ego that is always looking for the highest, best good for all concerned in whatever happens. That's the way to manifest things. Focus on the highest, best good. Okay, so now let's turn over the Ascended Masters card. El Maria. Just about my favourite card in the deck, this, actually, for reasons that I'll be here all day if I try and explain it. But El Maria basically was a great freedom fighter when he lived his last worldly incarnation that we know about. And here we have, clear and shield your energy. And it's really, really important to do that, particularly when you come to a moment of completion and you've got the ghosts of the past hanging around you, because to really move forward positively, to really get a good direction in life, you need to clear and shield your energy. It's kind of like say someone was doing a whiteboard presentation. To move on to the next part of that presentation, they got to wipe the whiteboard clean. And this is it. You don't have to kind of really be totally clean with the whiteboard. Well, yeah, clean is a good word, actually. Yeah, you want to be totally clean. But in cutting the cord with the past, it's always good to remember the things we've learned in the past and to keep with us the lessons and the love from the past as well. So clear and shield your energy, keep the lessons, keep the love, wipe the slate clean and be prepared to move on, okay? It's only really in our own hearts that we ever kind of can't get the slate wiped clean. So be decisive, make the decision to do that, because the rest of, I was going to say tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your life, but really this moment, you know, the next moment that comes to you is actually the beginning of the rest of your life. So there's our heart of the matter. So what have we in position number 4? I asked myself, and I know you're asking too. Not anymore, because it's the 5 of pumpkins. Oh, now then, this is that out in the cold feeling. Not the happiest feeling, actually, but this does often happen when we have a healthy attitude towards our own ego, and it's quite important to go through it, you know. It's not all 100% good times all the time. We've got this kind of imp character here with a rather devilly looking tail, and the black cat looking back, and the black cat is where the hope is, because you really need to kind of get into your own intuition to make the most of things, and for that you are actually having reference to your own ego when you look at your intuition. But the cat knows, the cat has its sort of starry gaze focused there, and this character knows really why he can't be inside on the other side of this window, which looks like a real nice warm place behind the window. He's out in the cold, out in the snow. But he knows that that's where he needs to be at the moment. And the cat certainly knows. He knows and he's in denial, but the cat knows, and the cat is saying, yes, you know, buckle down to it, just keep going. There's things to do before you actually access all the abundance of light that we see behind the pumpkins here. Right, loving this Halloween tarot deck, I really am. Thanks again, Adrienne. It means so much, it really does. And now other people are getting stuff out of it as well. That's what's really good about it. So, Ascended Masters. This is great. I'm using my newest deck here and my oldest deck here. This is the deck just about, yes, I think this was the first Oracle deck I ever got long ago. So, Lady Nada, mother, wife, sister, daughter. Feminine energies, in other words. And you don't have to be a woman to have those feminine energies going on. Every woman has a certain amount of masculine energy in there. Every man has a certain amount of feminine energy in there. And these are the feminine values. These are sort of family things, aren't they? Mother, wife, sister, daughter. And this is really, I suppose this is where you keep the ego in check, and this is the work that needs to be done before you're ready to ascend into the warmth, so it make the transition, as it were, into the warm, happy glow of whatever's going on behind this window. You know, these feminine values that we're talking about are really important in keeping body and soul together, in keeping life together. And I really know this, you know. I'm a man, I live on my own, and I have to clean the house, I have to cook, I have to do all the stuff that traditionally has been the realm, as it were, the responsibility of mothers, of wives, of sisters, of daughters. So bring that side of yourself out as much as you can whenever you're in a situation where you've just got to keep slogging on before it's actually time to enjoy the goodness of life. And we will find out in the next card where that's leading us. So first of all, Halloween Tarot. Card number 5. It's number 11. It's justice, you see. So it's bringing everything into balance. And that's what it's all about, you know. Everything that goes on this earth, whether it's scientific or spiritual, is all about things trying to come into balance. Wherever there's an imbalance energy, there's another energy trying to bring things into balance. When we get crazy weather happening somewhere, it's because we've got the opposite of that weather happening somewhere else in the world. And it's kind of, you know, if there's like a vacuum of not enough rain going on here and too much rain here, it will try and balance, you know. There's this flow going on all the time. And so it is with the spiritual life. The universe is always trying to bring things into balance. This is how it works. So there is the Justice card, what it's all about. And for number 5 of the Ascended Masters card, King Solomon. Priorities, great wisdom. And as he's holding both his hands up equally there, this really plays into what the Justice card is all about. Because to get a real sense of justice, to have that really at work in your life and really having justice and balance at its full power, you need to use your wisdom and you need to be setting priorities. I say I apply this to myself as well. We all need this. We need to set priorities. And there's the Merkaba shape over his head, showing the magic that is possible. He's actually drawing that magic into his own life by being as wise as he is. And a little something I found out recently about King Solomon. He became wealthy. He became as rich as he was because in his wisdom he grew aloe plants, as in aloe vera, which is a very wise thing to use. Actually, I've used that. Very good for the body, very good for the soul as well. So there we have today's readings, friends. I hope you got a lot out of it. I most certainly did. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you got a lot out of today's video. I certainly got a lot out of making today's video. Big thanks for all your support for the 60-second tarot and the live videos, which are going on all the time. 60-second tarot every day. Sometimes it's a 60-second angel card. I haven't done today's yet, actually. We will see what comes up for that one. But yeah, on the way to sorting that one out. That will be uploaded before this one, actually. So hopefully you've already seen it. If you haven't, check out my channel and look up 60-second tarot. It's coming all the time. Another good reason, actually, to hit the subscribe button as well. Give me a thumbs up as well. I meant to say that, but yeah, please thumb the video up if you've enjoyed this one. Do hit the subscribe button because there are more videos all the time coming up. And every Wednesday, every Friday and every Sunday, I aim to do about a 90-minute live stream session where you can actually come into the live chat and get me to pull a card for you, or maybe to use the pendulum for you, really, whatever. Sometimes I do mediumship that way as well. No cards, no pendulum, just see what my spirit guides tell me. But do hit the subscribe button because then you'll get notified when they come up. They are 9 p.m. UK time, that's 3 p.m. Central USA on Sundays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. or in UK time, or 12 noon Central USA time on Fridays. That's when we do the live sessions. So I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll join me for those. I will look forward to meeting you. And I will also look forward to producing a future video for you in which I will see you again. So be good to each other, friends. Take care of yourselves. Love and light to you, and blessings and peace.